All right, good evening. So I would like to talk about how doing a software startup is just like going paragliding. Well, almost the same. So the same steps apply. First, we have to do some market research. This step in paragliding is having a look at the weather. What will the weather look like in the coming days? So for example, we have an excellent example here. So we'll have some sun, it won't rain, and the wind will be blowing mildly. So perfect conditions to go paragliding. Next thing is deciding where do we go. So what's a good market for us? So we look on the paraglidingmap.com. It has all the spots on there. It's really good. It makes sure that the wind is in the right direction for this spot. So for example, this is in France, the Vogesen. It's looking good. We're going to Ouderen, for example. So we get in the van. We start driving, going to the mountain. This is where the big ideas come up, right? So you're imagining how it's going to be. Your startup is going to be awesome. You're going to be big. You're going to fly a triangle. You're going to fly 100 kilometers today. It's going to be awesome. But first, there's some development to do. So first, we have to take a 20 kilogram backpack and carry it up the mountain. So we carry all our ideas up the mountain. We do the development. We have a product. And then we arrive at the launch site. The launch site is basically our first check, reality check. So is the wind there? Are there thermals or are there thunderclouds forming? Conditions can change very rapidly, as we know. So we have a look. The wind is nice, not too much, enough. So we start preparing our stuff. We build our glider by attaching the seat to the canopy. We deploy the glider on the slope. We check our backup system, in this case the reserve parachute, and we enable monitoring, being the GPS that tells you your location and your altitude. All right, everything is looking good, so we're ready to go. So we're here, the plan is there, the product is ready, let's launch. So launching the product can be a bit scary. So what we're going to do, we're going to provide an impulse. We give it an impulse. It has to be enough to get the glider off the ground, but it can't be too much. If it's too much, the glider will come overhead, it will go too far, and it will shoot back. So that's not what we want. So the right amount of impulse, we brake a little bit. We look at the glider. It's all looking good. There are no knots in the lines. All right, we're ready for this. Let's go. We're launching. So we accelerate off the mountain. We accelerate. There we go. Come on, next slide. And we're in the air. All right, so we're in the air. Everything is looking good. The product is launched. The first customers are coming in. All right, this is going to work. So at first, we remain close to the hill. There's a nice updraft there. So it carries our weight, and we can suspend. So we stay in the air. We stay afloat. So at this point, it's really easy. You pull on the brake, you go left. You pull on the other brake, you go right, and you just keep on flying by the mountain. But of course, just keeping flying by the mountain with your startup might end badly because there are a lot of trees there. So keep an eye on your altitude. And this is not going big, right? It's just staying close, staying pretty safe because the ground is close. But we're looking for this big opportunity, right? And there it is. The other side of the valley, we see this huge cloud forming. So there's warm air on the floor that's going up, it's rising. If we take our glider in there, it will rise, and we will go to the cloud base. So that's very nice. That means we gain a lot of altitude, and we can go very far. So that's the equivalent to getting loads of customers and going big, right? But as we all know, the market is there. We can see it, very nice cloud. So there might be also some competition showing up. In this case, this is the World Championship or something like that, so it's a big competition. So you have the leaders in the pack, you have the followers, some people fall behind, they have to land prematurely. So as a startup, you have to do something, right? You have to stand out. So what can we do? We can do some crazy acro moves, which can go two ways, right? If you do it right, you will get noticed, somebody can pick you up, and you might get a nice exit out of it. On the other hand, might not end so well. But in this case, it went well. So we're going for the landing site. Everything is looking good. We're heading against the wind. We're landing. It's looking good. Sometimes beginners nail it perfectly. Sometimes even the pros hit an obstacle on the landing. So it's always unpredictable, right? So doing the acro moves can also result into this. So you're going overhead, the glider collapses, and you have to pull the reserve parachute. You almost die, and yeah. but you live for another day and you do another startup, right? So basically, what I wanted to talk about were my two passions. So one is building software and the other one is paragliding. They have a lot in common, I think. They're both adventures with ups and downs, can be very turbulent, especially the startup, I think. So my advice here is just, what was my advice again? I forgot. Just sit tight and enjoy the ride.